Dotted all over Cardow Moss, like these blocks behind me, is rubble that was brought here from Clydebank in 1941 after the Clydebank Blitz. I can't imagine what it must have been like coming out of the shelters or waking up the day after the bombing and seeing all that you'd known wiped away. Buildings, houses, factories destroyed. To those who lived through it, it must have seemed as if the world was ending. When Jesus and his followers arrived in Jerusalem, his followers, many of whom were fishermen from upcountry, were amazed at the buildings in Jerusalem, especially the temple. They kind of did the tourist thing. And they said to Jesus, "Have you seen the buildings? Look at them, aren't they amazing?" And Jesus said, "Do you see these buildings? I tell you, not one stone will be left on another." At the time, they must have wondered what he was talking about. But less than 40 years later, the temple was indeed torn down by the Romans in reprisal for the Jewish uprising against it. To those who lived through it, it must have seemed as if the world was ending. And yet Jesus went on to say to his disciples, "You'll hear wars and rumours of wars, there'll be earthquakes and famine, and the end is not yet." Many people are using today the analogy of wartime to describe the situation that we're going through with coronavirus. We don't see the ground shaking, and yet it feels as if everything is now uncertain. Everyone's using the word unprecedented, because we never have been through something like this before. Not in our lifetime. But go back through history, and there have been plagues and pestilence and famine and war more destructive than this is or will be. It's not the end. But it's a sign that the world is not how it's meant to be. It's a sign that this world is broken. It's a sign that this world and its people need restored and healed. It's a reminder that if we put our trust in anything that seems secure and stable that isn't God, in the end that can be swept away. And so as we begin this journey through the Easter week, leading up to our remembering the events of Good Friday and the glory of Easter Sunday, we begin by remembering why Jesus had to come. To begin the great work of putting to rights this world that is broken, and to make it possible for people in rebellion against their Maker to come back to him, to enjoy once again friendship and fellowship and relationship with their Maker and their Father, and to find that they can trust in Jesus, that he is the rock who will never be shaken. And so as we go through these times, and when we pass through these times and go into other times of shaking, whether it be a physical shaking or an emotional shaking or a spiritual shaking, when everything that we've relied on suddenly crumbles away, let's remember that there is one who is utterly reliable. And if we trust in him, if we make him our rock and our foundation, then we too will be able to stand whatever comes.